Voltex, showcased by Stonk, with Zyper and Murtag right beside him on commentary. Good luck to all of you, and take it away.
Hi, I'm Stonk. I've been playing Sound Voltex for like 8 years, 9 years, 2015. I'm pretty much going to start with a low-level song so I can show you how the game works. They'll explain it, and I guess we'll go.
О, поздравляю. Мы дождались.
So yeah, I'm Cyber. I've been playing this game for a little over a year at this point.
Real quick.
Yeah, and I'm Murtag. I've been playing the game for about 3 years.
There's 4
В общем-то,
buttons
советую всем
down
приготовиться.
here and 2 knobs. These are the white buttons.
So yeah, going into this, we have the white buttons, and as you can see on the
I
hand
forgot to
cam,
turn the speed down.
yeah, we want to turn the speed down for everyone to just make it more readable here at the start. But the game here, we have
Шоукейс
4
начался.
buttons, 4 the white buttons that you can see on the hand cam, and each of the rows correspond to one button you need to hit.
Если что, музыки даже на основном стриме почти нет.
People get is the orange buttons.
Все довольно
So the
тихо.
orange button is actually the black buttons that we see on the controller, and they light up in red when you hit them. And Sound Voltex also have lasers. So the right laser is always the red laser, and you need to turn it left or right depending on how the laser moves on the screen, and also corresponding.
Нам сейчас объясняют, как работает механика игры. Но на деле вы все видите сами. У вас 4 кнопки, надо нажимать их правильно, ну как, в правильное время. Тын-тын-тын-тын-тын-тын-тын.
To get score, we need to be hitting our notes. Every single short note has accuracy on it, and we need to be hitting as many crits or S crits as possible. We're playing at 120 FPS.
В игре есть механика критов и S-критов, то есть точность попадания отвечает за то, насколько много поинтов и мультипликатора вы получите. Чат, ну ты нормально музычку слышно? Она как бы и так тихая, еле слышно через комментаторов англоязычных. Просто, может, вам вообще ничего не слышно, и надо громкость нам поднять.
Yeah, the game even tells you how many milliseconds you were away, if you see there. Obviously his chain showing how many combos, what his combo is.
Ну да, там есть музыка такая условная. Давайте обратимся к команде технических шоколадок, чтобы она подняла громкость звука. Ну, либо это поднимет сейчас основная трансляция, мы хоть что-то слышать будем.
Jumping on difficulty, we're also going to jump up in scroll speed, so you'll see it move a lot faster now.
Yeah, what I accidentally started with before.
Yeah, so scroll speed is a really critical part of many rhythm games because it lets you adjust to your own personal preference of how much you see, how many notes you can see at once. And once you're good with the reaction time, you actually just want less notes so it's less dense. And so you'll see, Stonk's played this game for 8 years. He's going to be playing at his most comfortable scroll speed here, which is 850. Probably looks ridiculous.
Нормально кто-то из команды технических шоколадок, я думаю, громкость поднимет.
That's what he chooses for it to be at. So all the notes are nice and spaced out for him, and so he can maximize.
Синеволосая девочка, по-моему, это Рэм из Резеро. Я не помню, еще сестра там была, но ее никто не помнит. Рэм. В общем, из Резеро персонаж.
As long as the number is golden, that means that Stonks haven't missed any notes or any hold notes or anything.
Он крутит колесо, когда у него специальная нота появляется. Вот эти вот 2 штуки. Это типа показывается, как ему покрутить вот эту вот вещицу надо.
So there's kind of like 3 different modes that you're always playing in. Either you're playing both hands on the buttons, or you're playing one hand on the laser and one hand on the buttons, like right here, or you're playing with both hands on the lasers. And Sound Voltex challenges you to constantly shift between these 3 major hand positions in interesting and complicated ways, and often very, very quickly.
Exactly, yeah. And the game is going to evolve that a lot.
Мне больше интересно, сменит ли его кто-нибудь за эти 50 минут.
Yeah, because right now, Stung is pretty much keeping left hand of the board, right hand, but he will have to do something harder than that later.
So yeah, this
Ну, я
game
вот
seems
помню,
actually
был
really
шоукейс
harder.
танцевальный, там
Some really weird patterns.
американец был, я не помню, на каком шоу, но он был поздно вечером у нас.
Yeah.
Ну, блин, он был таким хайповым, что я аж проснулся
Also with the
тогда.
lasers, so he has to match the movement of the lasers. So the blue with the left knob, the red with the right knob.
Ну, вот нам рассказывают о том, что
The speed
надо
of this video
менять
doesn't actually matter.
вот
He
эти вот
just
лазеры,
the
которые
direction,
появляются
the
с помощью
timing.
вот этих
The
вот
timing is actually quite
крутилок,
precise.
и левая за
So
синие,
your ultimate
правая
challenge
за красную. Это можно
So he
догадаться.
missed 0 notes. He got every single one.
Everyone.
And he got a score of 999, you might have seen the score. And since it's out of 10 million, that means he got 99.9% of the possible score he could have gotten. With just a
Если что, максимально
two nears.
максимум очков это 10 миллионов, потому что это будет означать, что вы прошли 99,9 нот, которые только возможны с максимальной точностью.
Every single difficulty increase is exponentially harder than the last one. So going off of 15 to 17, you can see a big difference in the note density and also how complex the charts get.
Yeah, we're also going to see some more reaching techniques here. So he's going to have to laser
О,
one hand
полетело,
and
полетело,
jump
полетело.
across the board with his other hand to hit both oranges with just one hand. Or there, in the case of two chords.
So sometimes laser charts can kind of just be mesmerizing to just look at. There's going to be so much going on. The lasers here are a little bit interesting. You can park them on one side, and as long as the laser is going straight, you don't actually need to turn anything. But it's only when the laser is turning that you actually have to do any inputs.
Yeah. One more piece of the UI I didn't explain is that meter on the right, it's currently like 85% and going up. That's the clear meter. He has to finish the song at over 70% to clear it, which Stonk will do very easily.
Справа, кстати, вот эта вот полоса, которая есть, это полоса клирметра, как он сказал, полоса зачистки карты, получается, и вы должны держаться над 70%, чтобы пройти эту карту.
And he just does it.
О, комбо сорвалось все-таки.
Yeah, that was an incredible playthrough of that section, just a very small mistake. So the lasers, it doesn't matter.
Одна ошибка, ой, одна ошибка и минус комбо. Ай-яй-я. Расписание по команде R. Ну, ближайшие 2 часа будет вот примерно такое, потому что сейчас у нас 50 минут Sound Vortex и потом 40 минут Hatsune Miku.
Really good.
Одна ошибка, и ты ошибся, главное. Так, что в чате за Куру-Куру? Куру-Куру. Закинули 300 баксов. Причем от фаната Sound Voltex.
Thank you very much for
Thank
that.
you, Yo-Yo.
Что за Куру в чате? Это снова какой-то ваш молд из Sound, которого нету комментатора.
And this chart has appeared in a whole bunch of those.
You'll notice you have to put your hand in the middle often.
Yeah, so this song has a lot of chords. Yeah. So you're gonna see Stonks here actually take his hand into the middle of the board to hit them a lot. And you're gonna see that later in the song where he would just go back and forth with his hands a lot.
Yeah, so the real challenging part of this song is the chord section coming up near the end. We're gonna have some really weird laser stuff where he's gonna have to play a lot of the board with just one hand up until that point, but that's actually the easy part. But it's gonna be some really intense chords, which are just way more intense than in any other 17. And yeah, you're gonna see how he very carefully manages what hand does what. So as he mentioned, playing when you have a chord with the two middle white notes, playing that with one hand rather than two is just a little bit less effort, so it increases speed and accuracy. And And then, of course, he wants to also alternate which hand he's using
Ooh.
so that he can maintain that speed. But because the pattern is kind of complicated, he won't be able to do that completely. But he's still, trying to keep it even between his hands as much as possible.
Мне кажется, что проще сыграть это на реальном инструменте, чем вот так вот.
Hand took over the ball to hit the other laser. That's like preference in this game. Sometimes some people they like to reach, other times they want to switch their hands back and forth. So you can always change how you're playing it. There's no one way to play it. But yeah, get ready for the jack section here.
Yep.
Началось.
An amazing section.
Yeah, and I think I saw Stunk
Неужто без одной ошибки?
dissatisfaction there when he missed the 5-frame window on one of the notes that he hit there.
No, I didn't.
Oh no, what you did?
Ого. Perfect ultimate chain. Все.
Oh, it was a regular
love to
crit.
see.
It was he missed the S crit but got the crit still.
Now that's a perfect score.
Идеально. Клап,
Jack,
клап.
the 10 million right there.
Yeah, so that was 584 5-frame tricks at 60 FPS in a row to hit every single crit there, hitting
That's a
every
rough
single
one.
note to get the perfect ultimate chain, the absolute maximum possible score with perfect accuracy. That's completely ridiculous.
That was
I can't
amazing.
believe you just did that.
That was really amazing. And we
That
saw
is
a lot
big
of
wall song for a lot of people, including me, for a long time.
You're just too good.
He's jumping up to an 18 right here, and as you say, it gets exponentially harder and harder. So this song, you can see even more notes coming in now. And this song is also famous for its jacks coming up. There's going to be a lot of notes on the same buttons over and over again.
Yeah, so obviously way harder than before, exponentially harder for this one on 18 now. This is on a Yuri, and it's infamous for its jacks. Jacks meaning like jackhammering on the same button over and over. And we're going to see that, but this song doesn't just have jackhammers. It has jackhammers where every fourth input is actually also a chord. So he has to like alternate with one of his hands, doing a chord every other.
Так, чат.
But the chord
Я думаю, вам там немного скучно, так что вот вам prediction.
very, very quickly. I think it's something like 10 notes per second. But of course, with very good accuracy.
Те, кто хотел заскамиться на пузырике, пожалуйста, скам на пузырике открыт. А пока у нас шоу-кейс продолжается.
Show off the musical diversity of the game because the previous song was pretty hard style, rough stuff, but this is like beautiful jazz.
Сейчас Раннер говорит о том, что он хочет показать, насколько
Here comes the jacks.
разнообразная игра,
Okay, a little bit
и то, что до этого был тяжелый трек.
Yeah, it's so
Получается, он
annoying.
подразумевает, что это простой.
Super easy. If you just a single time just accidentally hold the button for too long, you won't register the next input, and the whole thing just falls apart.
Yeah, but as Song says, it's very diverse in the amount of music that's in the game. You can have like some really raw style songs sometimes, and you can also find some even anime songs in here if you want to.
Absolutely. There's a few thousand songs in this game, so pretty much every kind of genre you could imagine is in this game.
Nice.
Ultimate Chain,
Так, это номер 2.
999 score.
That's one of my favorites. A lot of this game for me is how fun it is because of the hand movement. A lot of games don't have, a lot of rhythm games don't have tech like alternating on a single button as often as this game does, and that's what I appreciate so much about it. The gameplay is so unique. for me.
Раннер сейчас говорит о том, что ему... Ну как, это получается не рано все-таки, это шоу-кейс. И человек на шоу-кейсе говорит о том, что ему эта игра нравится за счет того, что очень разнообразная техника, потому что в большинстве ритм-игр нет таких частых возможностей переключаться между кнопками и бить по одной клавише.
Exactly. So the lasers really try to throw you off sometimes, which how they move. And yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter how fast you're turning them, but sometimes you'll see them just go to the side really fast, and sometimes they'll go really slowly. And that's just to try to mess with you. And also another thing, sometimes the laser will be white. That means that the two lasers are overlapping each other. So you need to remember that, like, oh, you have both lasers going at the same time, and then one of them might jump out at some point.
Да, можно.
I love lasers.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah, so trying to understand charts like this, and we're seeing some cross lasers here, by the way. So this is where he's being forced to hold down a button, but then has to do both lasers. So he has to reach across the board, as you can see on the hand cam. We're going to see a lot more cross lasering because the later charts just do it all the time whenever they want.
У меня бы уже руки отвалились
Lasers
так
are
делать.
kind of famous for being one of those charts where you can actually like learn it to play. Some songs has like a lot of notes, so you just kind of just have to get good at the game. But laser songs you can learn a little bit and then maybe get some like easier clears on it. But some of these songs are still just like insane. I couldn't hear the song.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult to read lasers like this. You know, you have to like.
Ну вот
really
тут вот с
study
трудом
the
слышится
chart,
техно-саундтрек.
figure out, yeah, okay, what is this chart really doing? Oh my
Whoa,
god!
why?
Take
Oh.
another one.
What?
Tretий.
Okay, I just get a puck on an 18.
Okay.
Like,
The puck on an 18.
Okay.
why not?
We love laser songs in this house. Laser songs are some of my favorite. A lot of the time people think lasers are usually just flavor text for a lot of charts, but sometimes they'll make something like that where it's the majority of the chart, which is amazing.
I'm kind of speechless.
You may have heard
Oh,
of this
my.
song before.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, let's go. So this is Megalovania. This is a really hard chart, by the way.
I think some people know it.
Yeah, I think. Anyone heard
Two or
of it?
three.
Yeah. 2 or 3. So they really took this chart to 11. They thought, you know, there's just not enough. There's not enough notes in Megalovania.
О, это.
And it's a really good example of also how the FX notes, the orange notes, actually change how the song sounds. Because you probably actually know how the song sounds, so you can tell, oh wait, it sounds different whenever he holds the orange buttons. So we're actually like DJing the song basically, remixing it as we go when we play Sound Voltex. And so obviously this is a really hard song with all these lasers and notes, but he also has to control the heart in the background and avoid all the obstacles with the lasers.
Если что, сейчас раннер контролит вот это вот сердце, которое на фоне, и ему надо избегать лазеров.
I wish that was real though.
Ауф.
Also drawing some bones there, as you might recognize. One fail. They really love to draw things with the lasers, because the lasers can just do wherever they want. Like, they're not restricted by the board or any kind of.
Причем лазеры эти
They
идут
can just do
рандомно.
whatever, including drawing pictures. I guess another-
Уф. О.
This song is so good.
I think many people might agree. Do you agree, Ilya?
Причем песня искажается из-за того, что вот эти импуты делает раннер, то есть она миксуется прямо вот во время
They
игры.
just, like, filled it out with as many as they could, I feel.
Yeah, we also saw some lasers just went completely straight. If a laser's going straight, that means you don't need to turn the knob. So he actually didn't need to do anything to hit those lasers, but they're just there to make the song that much harder to read, to understand. Because you're like, oh, red laser, I need to laser. Wait, it's not moving. Wait, the game just is tricking you just to make it extra difficult.
Yeah, and some Voltex actually does that a lot. You've also seen the screen effect sometimes.
Да, scratch
When it's
сессия.
rotating. That's just like a gimmick of Sound Voltex, but they sometimes actually use that as a gimmick to make it harder.
О.
Ultimate chain,
Little contain every note.
really nice.
99.9% score, 0.5.
That's almost a PG. Almost.
Three nears.
That chart's really hard. The lasers at the end, I
Yeah.
had to study for a good while,
Там этот.
like some sort of nerd.
Осторожно, осторожно.
Okay, so
Speaking of studying,
we're just taking it even further here. So this is Unleashed Redness. This is a chart that I have never been able to clear because it is silly. Basically, it's like imagine you took a really hard chart, but then switched all the lasers.
So they're all cross hands.
Yeah, so rather than you being like, no, 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 laser, it's no, 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 reach across to the other side of the board, laser. We're going to see it.
But just
right
see at
away
the start,
here.
he has to reach with his hand all the way over to the other side of the board to play these lasers.
It's also kind of a banger in my opinion.
I love the song.
It's really good, yeah.
They like to try and trick you.
Say the least.
Yeah. This is like one of the shots that's really hard to clear on your first try, just because you have to reach
I
over so
failed.
much.
I for sure failed on my sight read.
And also look at this man actually speaking while he's playing like
Yeah, I know.
eight
It's
scenes.
like, do you need us? You can go.
Иногда задаюсь вопросом, люди ли это?
That's so
О,
cool.
It would be cool if you could go to the bathroom for me.
вот это скорость.
No, I don't think that's possible.
And you're not trying hard enough.
I hear the lasers are approaching from like way outside of the board there. And that red laser at the end in particular, it's like starts way outside. So you need to basically know it's coming. Or really good peripheral vision.
Yeah, here you can see that he's actually playing on one side of the board. If you look at the hand cam, he has to like play. If you split the board in half, you usually have one side, the right hand on the right side and the left on the left. But this song forces you to play notes, both laser and note on one side of the board. And a little bit of flexing there at the end. How nice.
Fun. For
How
fun.
nice.
You have plenty of time.
Amazing.
Track complete.
Incredible performance there.
Amazing stuff. Do you have a moment for a few
Yeah,
donations?
yeah, take
Yeah,
it over,
go
please.
ahead.
Amazing. So we have $20 from Johnny SA with no comment going
Johnny
towards
SA.
Tainted Tally being the people's champion here. And currently Tainted Tally is in 4th place. I just want to remind everybody that for the next incentive that we have here, the bonus song for Project Diva, that's currently standing at a grand total of $663.
Собирает на бонусный трек для Project Diva.
So keep those donations coming.
Ну да,
We wanna
бонусную
see
песню.
more songs. We want to see
Бонус
more rhythm
сон.
games.
Yes,
It's
we
back
do.
to you folks.
Thank you, thank you. And now we're actually going into our first 19 of the day. So it gets exponentially harder and harder. You can just see how note heavy it already is here at the start. And this is also a good time to actually mention that the makers of the game, Konami, they are hosting an event one time a year called KAC. And at that event, they usually like at the finals to have the contestants play a new song that has never been showed before in the finals. So this was one of the songs that was shown in one of the KACs. So they had to sight read it on stage for the first time.
Yeah, for the tournament as well.
Exactly,
Like, it wasn't
yeah.
just a showcase.
Yeah, it was for the finals. So they pick like one song each, and then the last song would just be a new song they've never played before.
But shows that was totally ridiculous. Actually. Yeah, so now we're into 19s. 19s are just completely absurd. Like, there isn't that many 19s compared with the others. There are about 600 18s in the game, but there's only about 110, 120 19s. So, like, we're in kind of the end of the bell curve now, getting towards, because these are just ridiculous.
Or so you'd think.
Well, not quite at the end of the bell curve. Towards the end of the bell curve. Yeah, it's reached the point now we can't really give a play-by-play. Like the things we talked
Yeah.
about before, like where it's like,
There's
oh,
just so
now
much
there's an
going on.
interesting bit. Yeah, now just constantly, it's just very difficult technical stuff.
I love the song.
It's a good song.
I wanted to do this 19th first because it's one of the more basic, not easy by any means, but one of the more straightforward 19s.
Whatever you say, man.
Compare it to the later songs, and I'm right.
True.
But it's
That is
very
right, yeah.
hard, but it's not gimmicky.
Yeah, very much true.
And there are some gimmicky 19s.
Yeah. Like the next one coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this next 19 is Bellow Bomb.
So you
Bellow
think
bomb?
it's only
Bellow bomb,
lasers
I
can be
think.
gimmicky, but buttons can be gimmicky. And I want to show that with Bellow Block.
So if you thought that the jacks that we saw earlier were amazing or crazy, then look at this. This is both like if you took jacks and chords and like merged them together, it's insane. This song.
He's gonna have to alternate with his hands doing different chords in really difficult patterns over long sections, and have to change what chords he has to do in those patterns without any breathing room either as well. And it's just crazy. You need insane speed and precision to be able to do this. Never mind with good accuracy like Sonic does. I don't know either.
And these sections are also not easy either, by the way. You have to hold a button while you're playing other notes. That can be really weird.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about hold notes actually. Yeah, give it up for Stunk. That was incredible. Yeah, so hold notes in this game are actually every single beat is an individual note. So if he lets go of a hold too early, then he's missing on every single beat. So it's really important in this game that you hold on to the hold the whole time. Like here, he really needs to hold on to them, otherwise he'll get a lot of misses. It's not like Guitar Hero, it doesn't really matter too much.
Exactly. And it also really, oh yeah, look at that section. It's just, but as you're saying with the holds, the tick rate of the game is actually dependent on the BPM of the song. So if the song is
Ой.
fast, the holds become more and more important.
Периодически я задаюсь вопросом, возможно ли это пройти с первого раза, не ошибившись? Были ли такие вообще случаи? Ох,
Nice.
Darn.
увы.
That's the hard part, so I'll take it still. Not
Still
only-
incredible.
It's just great how many gimmicks this game can have with only 6 buttons and 2 knobs.
You guys
Yeah,
mind if I
yeah,
jump in
quick-
with a quick donation or
Yes,
two?
Yeah,
please.
go for it.
Absolutely. Here's $5 from Icer. I don't know if this is a meme, but I know you have a set list, so I'm just going to say this as a joke. Hi, can you please play Blastix Riots during Showcase? Please, thank you. Smile
Well, I'll
emoji.
definitely play something very close to it.
Amazing. So we also have $20 from Anonymous with no comment, going to the bonus song. Thank you all very much for your donations. Back to you, folks.
Thank you, thank you.
So earlier when we said songs can be made of entirely lasers,
Yeah, you're gonna see this song.
Yeah.
This is infamous for being the boss of the laser songs in this game. for sure.
Сейчас нам обещают
also built on
известный
cross hands.
трек, музыкальную композицию, в которой очень много лазеров.
Really crazy. They really pushed the limits of what a laser song could be with this, and it's basically the hardest laser song in the game.
But yeah, one of the only games that actually forces a cross hand, where you have to play basically with a with an X. But you'll get to see that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's not much to say other than like this is just really, really crazy technical. Both lasers disconnected, doing different patterns and different rhythms very consistently. It's just very difficult. Cross hands all over the place, like here. But also, yeah, as we alluded to, there's a very interesting, unique section where he's not just going to cross lasers.
Ой,
he's gonna
комбо потеряли.
cross lasers.
Unlucky,
So his hands
unlucky.
will literally form a cross, and we'll call that out when we're coming up to it.
And sometimes laser section can also be really hard, and sometimes they can actually be a little bit simple, like that section there, where it was mostly like lasers being in sync. But then you get a section like this, where the lasers just go wherever they want, and sometimes they go together, but then one of them takes off to the other side. But it goes so fast, and they just cross each other. And
Okay, yeah, so here, watch the hand cam as he double crosses his hands over, as he's forced to by the hold notes.
Ну что, трек тяжело идет, тяжело. Очень много потерянных комбо.
Definitely one of the most unique sections.
Раннеру не хватает рук.
One, plenty
and,
more
and,
double
look, and,
crossing
look, and look
right
at this
here.
one. Actually have to cross them for multiple seconds.
Here, having to hold 2 notes and hit the middle note with the same hand, because why not?
You haven't really seen that in a lot of songs, so it's kind of unique to this song.
Like, Daisy Code's just full of things that are only in this song.
That was a good
Nice,
run.
nice.
Самое интересное, все еще есть возможность выиграть на ставке
That's better than I normally do.
по тому, что он все еще 4 держит идеальных трека.
In between songs like that.
Но может уйти и
And that's a good
больше
gentleman
идеальных треков.
with one over here. It's $15 from a regular guy going towards crowning the People's Champion to be Ashwin, who is now taking the lead, $70 over my 55, Shigun's 45, Tally's 25, and Dusseler's 10. So if you want to push anyone to the top, keep those donations coming for that incentive and also for the bonus song.
20 минут осталось.
You'll notice this song is
Но он первые 3, ну как, первые 4 в первые 20 минут сделал, так что...
Before we allude to the fact that Sound Voltex has songs that you're kind of not really meant to sight read, you need to kind of study them a bit and figure them out. This is one of the songs that kind of takes that to like a real extreme, and it's also going to be kind of a weave song basically this as well. So it's kind of a different musical style as well. So this song features BPM changes, and you'll see in the top right the red text or the blue text whenever it's going to change speed. This BPM and the scroll speed is tied to the BPM. So whenever the BPM changes, his scroll speed changes, which is a problem. And so he's going to have to deal with that while also playing the rest of the song. So as a reminder, this might look nice to you, like, oh, it's nice and slow, thank God. But remember, like, this is too slow for him.
Вот это хайповый сонг.
Maintain that accuracy and not press too early. Never mind when it's just constantly speeding up all the time. Why not?
So you just see the song just constantly going faster and faster and faster.
So another technique you can employ to deal with songs like this is actually to change your scroll speed mid-song. So you can hold the start button on the controller and then spin a knob to just change your scroll speed.
Which I will do a few times.
Yeah. You need to sneak it in when you can. Some songs have designed moments for it. Like there, like you if you blink,
Тихо.
Yeah,
it's
that's
very, very fast.
that the next stream isn't super
Сейчас бы тишину на основном стриме, чтобы этот трек прям вообще кайчевый.
Which makes it easier for him to actually play this section, also play it more accurately. This song just goes crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And here we also see another instance of where you don't have to actually hit the lasers because the lasers just going straight.
Yeah, the lasers are just trolling you, which is a theme on the song, you might notice.
So even though he slowed the song down a lot, it's still really fast. Nice. So what actually happening in the ending there is that the song goes all the way down to 5 BPM. So the tick rate in the game is then so slow at that point that you can actually release the orange buttons because you already hit them. And then he speeds up so that it's clearer for him when he has to actually press the 4 white
And I
notes.
still neared it.
Yeah, it's very hard to hit a crit there.
Someone asked for Blastix. This is what you're gonna get. It's the sequel. It's just as abrasive.
Yeah, so we're up to the really upper end of 19s, arguably now. Depending on your skill set, though, because this is a song that is very much focused on notes and speed. So, you know, the question is...
Сейчас будут очень быстрые ноты.
If you've only played the game for like 3 years, like me and Viper, then no, is very much the answer. But for Stonk, I think he's got it under control because he's insane for this game. But as you can see, that's just... and it gets harder and harder as we go as well.
I always think of these songs kind of like a stat check song. It's like, are you just fast enough? Yes or no? There's no like, you know, oh, could I learn the lasers or anything? Those is just like, yes or no question. Are you fast enough?
Yeah, like practicing the song doesn't really help. You just need to get good.
And yeah, those calls are like really weird because you have to like do a burst of 4 notes or like 4 chords, and then you have to then stop yourself right after, and then have to do 4 again. So that can be...
Yeah, because as a reminder, he's not just trying to full combo this, he's trying to full combo with perfect accuracy, hitting that 5-frame window at 6 FPS on every single white and orange note. And the only way to do that is to really be precise on exactly when he should be hitting it.
Сейчас рассказывают о том, что на самом-то деле попадать по этим клавишам еще сложнее, чем кажется, потому
Yeah, it's
что
always a bad sign when a
вот
song
эти вот ноты требуют попадания в 5 кадров. То есть иногда в спидранах бывают frame perfect трики, так называемые, где надо попасть там в один, дефис пару кадров, а здесь каждая нота этого требует.
uses like different hands for like hand motions to hit the notes that you might expect, so that he can set himself up better for the later sections. It's a good example of how like you actually have a lot of freedom in how you hit things in Sound Voltex, like which hand you want to use, based on personal preference. And these are ridiculous. Incredible.
Messed up quite a bit at the end, but that's
Still really good.
Still,
that chart makes me sweat. Always has, always will.
can we throw over to a quick donation?
Absolutely. Here's $50 from Narp saying Crunky.
Ну, раннер прям...
$30 from Skaz
Ну как
and
это?
Alt saying,
Каждый раз я попадаюсь на то, что раннер,
"Showcase,
потому что
wishing we could be there
вот эта
next
вот
year
игра одна из тех, которые невозможно спидранить.
donations."
Потому что это автоскролл,
Yeah, so we're throwing it
по
over.
большей части.
Very cool song though.
I consider this the hardest 19 in the game. Not everyone does. It's a pretty common opinion though.
Yeah, and because it's such a cool song, but it's charted in a way that's incredibly difficult. And again, like it's not because it's just reliant on speed. The speed here is going to be coming from mainly one-handed jacks. So before, we saw like he could use both hands on the same button, to get really good speed consistently. But this song is like, nah, you got a laser at the same time, or you've got to hit an orange note at the same time. So he's forced to do it with a single hand, and that you need to be hitting. I think it's almost 10 notes per second, something 8 or 9 on a single hand on a button, with accuracy, of course. And that's incredibly difficult.
Like in this section, he has to have the one hand on the blue laser, so he's forced to only use one hand on the triple jacks.
Also notice here that the laser on the opposite sides, the red laser's on the left, just to make it extra difficult to read, because it's the wrong way around compared with your controller.
Those jacks are killer. Those are why I find this so hard. And it does it again at the end.
So another calm before the storm. Oh no.
Love it.
Never a good sign.
Get him to reach across the board for the orange node.
And this song also jams.
So good. It's a banger.
When this came out, people were pretty convinced it was a 20.
Little did they know.
Вот это скорость.
So here again, it forces him to then do 3 jacks on one hand because you have to hit the other note on the other side of the board. It's just not feasible to move your hand that
Good
fast.
for me.
Nice,
Like
nice.
that.
Okay, we have finally made it. I mentioned the start difficulties go up to 20. You were waiting for it. Here we go. We're going to play some 20s.
In the meantime, I'm going to jump in with a couple quick donations
Yes, please.
here. We have $74 from YTP Renewed saying, those who believe video games cause violence would be hard-pressed to explain so many gamers gathered together in Sweden, one of the most peaceful countries in the world. Ain't that the truth? And finally, I'm just going to go a quick one. $100 from Omni. Just
Love
saying
Omni.
a simple hi stonk.
Hi, Omni.
Закинули $100 с простым комментарием «Хай,
First
Стонг».
ever 20 introduced into the game. And it is completely ridiculous.
This was actually the song that made the 20 difficulty, because before the song difficulties only went up to level 16s. So this
It's a
song,
retroactive upgrade, yes.
yeah, So they upgraded like all of the level from level 15 all the way up to level 20.
Yeah, typically 16 was getting a little bit too dense. But yeah, we're going to see some really ridiculous sections, patterns that are not in any other song, and we're also going to see a gimmick. Pretty much every single 20 in this game has a very special gimmick unique to that song. And so something kind of interesting is going to happen towards the later part of the song. And this part coming up is completely insane, by the way. So this is so much harder than it looks, like having to hold onto that note while also hitting all those really fast triplets and also the orange notes thrown in. Incredibly difficult section.
So every single 20 basically finds some new way to move your hands.
Пока что все, что говорят комментаторы, это то, как сложно все это делать одновременно.
Where they change and sometimes even have animations on them. This is one of the first 20, so it doesn't really have an animated background, but it still has a live background and also has like a gimmick that's going to come up to here.
All time.
So yeah, it takes your board away, so it's harder for you to read where the notes are, especially when, you know, then sometimes the lasers can kind of tell you where they are, but these sections, like the lasers just go out of the board, so you cannot even use the lasers as a guide.
You just have to go on raw feeling of what the note is. This part is incredibly hard because the orange notes are in a different pattern to the white notes, like a different rhythm. So they,
Я не уверен, что это имитас уже.
You have the jacks ending, yeah.
nice.
Вот это, конечно, скорость нажатия под конец была.
The polyrhythm at the end is what stopped that chart from being perfected for several years.
Incredible stuff. I have a donation here that I feel is very, very relevant.
Okay.
We have a $10 donation from Theo Bromine saying, Stonk is one of the most impressive gamers I've ever watched.
Кричит Стасу в голове.
Thanks to all the runners and crew, great event, which is going towards the
Не смогли
final
ТАСС
phase of
написать
107,
программные, написали человеческие.
$200 away from being met. Very close, so keep those donations coming. Back to you.
Yeah, we can totally do it. We are going into this section for this song called Could it be a spatial temporal shockwave syndrome?
Yeah, could it be a spatial temporal shockwave syndrome is a song that we really enjoy, and we really enjoy saying the name as well as the gimmick of the song, as you're already seeing, where it stops and starts, because, you know, why not? That doesn't seem like it would be annoying or incredibly difficult. We're also going to see a ton of BPM changes, so much so that he's going to be, again, changing his scroll speed mid-song.
Exactly, so that's the gimmick for this song. It's just all of the, like, the charts is going to stop and start, and also all the scroll speed changes we need to do.
Yeah, you stand no chance in first playthrough on this song.
So yeah, this is one of the songs where you need to play it at least 5 times to even like just try to understand it. And here he's doing a speed change or a lane speed change while the screen was spinning, and he had to hold a note at the same time.
More straight lasers just to throw you off, while there's other lasers that you do need to hit. Yeah, could it be a spatial temporal shockwave syndrome is a real ridiculous song.
I like this part of Could it be a spatial temporal shockwave syndrome?
Yeah, I feel like the ending of could it be a spatial temporal shockwave syndrome is the part that really makes it though.
Can't focus.
Sorry.
So it's awesome.
I sometimes just like to just watch the hand cam. It's just insane to just see how his hands are moving. And yeah, this section, like such a weird old section.
Yeah, did super well to maintain his combo there.
Но это еще не факт, что самый быстрый, потому что дальше будет раннер, ну не раннер, тоже шоукейс будет от Хацуна Мику.
I don't know whose idea it was to actually think that stopping the lane was a good idea.
I don't know.
That's a good
That
score.
was an incredible score. 99.4% of the
That's
possible
my
score he
second
could have
best
got.
score on that. I got my first best in a practice room before this.
99,4
That is
максимального
quite
скора набрал.
amazing. I'm gonna say Here's a couple more donations. The love is pouring in. $42 from Lemon GH with no comment, and $15 from Bardil saying this Sound Voltex showcase is amazing. I've never seen such finger speed before. Absolutely incredible. Back to you, folks.
Донат с комментарием. Никогда не видел настолько быстрой работы пальцами.
I think it's really infamous for a lot
Earlier,
of
when we
people.
mentioned KAC, this is one of those that they cite right at the competition.
Yeah, which was I can't imagine.
Если что, это игра на мобильном. Это важный момент. Он просто играет не с контроллера.
Came out the hardest song in the game. This song is just ridiculous. It has loads of patterns like this.
Just a fast chord
Ну, на самом деле не на мобильном, это игровой автомат.
Crazy.
Но у него на мобильном экране еще дублируется часть информации с этого... Как это называется? Я забыл.
Yeah, these laser sections are actually like much harder than you think because they really try to throw your
Unlucky.
focus with the lasers because they're so close.
С игрового
to
автомата, вот,
in and out of each other
помню.
all the time.
В общем-то, это игровой автомат, по-моему, капкомовский. Поэтому вы просто видите вот такой вот вытянутый экран.
Ridiculous Jack also managed the lasers.
I thank Bashi for my mashing speed.
Ай, комбо, комбо. Куда ж ты так?
They're about to spawn pretty soon here.
You can see it's evolving in the live.
Ай,
video.
комбо,
It's pausing
комбо.
right now.
Куда ж ты
And
так?
it's gonna pop up.
Yeah,
Bye.
through a 6 as well. There she is.
А, нет,
You might notice she has a
нет,
sword,
все-таки не справился.
but
Упс.
that's not gonna do anything, right? That's not gonna do anything.
Exactly. So yeah, this is the gimmick of this song. It's got a lane split, and then it also parks the laser in the middle of the song, which just makes it even harder to read. And on top of that, it's not an easy song either. It's going really fast.
Yeah,
Especially-
it feels like your eyes have to go out like this when you play this song, and it's just completely that this pattern is just. There's no way I can explain how hard that is. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, get ready for this jack section coming up here.
Хватит, если... Надо... В общем, чтобы пройти, надо 70% скоро.
Nice.
Вот справа, вот там вот бегунок красненький такой вверх-вниз скачет. Если он опустится ниже белой полоски, то все, unlucky.
Your fingers just doesn't really have space. But I think we have time for one more donation before the last song.
Yep, absolutely, and it's a big one. It's $100. Coming in from iCarly saying, "Let's go, Stonk." And just as an
Часть треков
update
искусственно
on
разогнана,
the
и
bonus
часть
song,
треков реально в Японии слышно.
$1,186 out of the $1,539 required. We are getting ever so close to meeting that. So keep those donations coming, and who knows, we're gonna get some extra content. Can't wait to see it. Back to you for the final song.
This came out very recently and is considered definitely the hardest song in the game by a good margin.
Yeah, this came out in March, and it's completely and utterly ridiculous. This is just a giant middle finger to basically all of the best players in the world that are getting perfect scores on, you know.
Последний трек.
And it's like, yeah, okay, all right, do this.
Не будет ли он на
And it just
10
gets
миллионов?
harder,
Будет
and
ли он на
you can't just about the whole song.
99,9%
What you
закрыт?
would think is superhuman.
Exactly.
Или
This was also one of the songs that was released
со
during a
ставки
event, but now
все заберут те, кто поставил на второе.
and this was then in the final
Сейчас
for that,
решается
event.
судьба пузыриков чата,
Just think about, like, two people
потому что
on
кто-то
stage trying to compete with one
заберет
another. They just
себе
sight-reading this.
все
Yeah, and they
пузыри.
were clearing it. They were
Один человек
Absolutely crazy.
поставил на 4 трека. О,
Absolutely
Уф.
insane sections.
Yeah, it's an incredible
Он
song. The
просто
song is
безумен.
about it. He was the first person.
Look at the hand cam here.
Yeah.
It's, I love that section.
Yeah, Stomp
Yeah.
was the first person in North America to S the song.
Блин, а он очень хорошо идет.
9% score.
Yeah, now the song really starts. So I think we're just gonna let this play out.
А, все.
The tutorial is
Руина.
very good.
Ну, одну ноту можно скипнуть. Не будет. Да, 11 плюс не будет. А, стоп. Я обманул. Это не последний трек, у них еще 10 минут. Точно. У них еще 10 минут шоукейса. Это еще 2 трека. Чат. Я вас забайтил. Ух. Кто-то уже расслабился с пузыриками. Ой. Не, ну тут руина вообще. Комбо руина.
Oh my god, you got the ending!
А, нет, все нормально. Скайма не было, это 49 из 50. В смысле 10 минут.
Insane. Absolutely
У меня просто таймер шакала. Простите. Мне показалось, что там этот
That game is fun and I'm
обманул
sweating.
Unlucky. Что с аутком? Поздравляю, поздравляю. Тех, кто пожертвовал 100 пунктосиков.
Thank you guys.
Малой ценой великая победа.
This is my favorite game of all time. I have many hours in it. I'm glad everyone is enjoying it. I appreciate it.
Блин, ну это прям хайпово. Мне просто интересно, они целый игровой автомат так привезли, либо у него все-таки этот удаленный доступ с приложения на андроиде?
If you want to get into it, it would be awesome.
Yeah,
Plenty
like
of communities for it.
yeah, I just want to give a massive shout out to ESA for having this showcase and inviting Stunk over here to show us some incredible skills. It's an amazing game, and the only reason why I'm here and playing Sound Voltex is because of ESA. I got into playing Sound Voltex at ESA Winter 2020 because Naro brought his controller here and was super gracious in letting people play on it. And then I just got really hooked and then got my own controller and now I'm playing. And you know, all of you guys, you need to be playing rhythm games. Like even if you've never played them, you just don't realize yet. There's so many
Рекомендую
great
всем
ones. Even if Sound Voltex
попробовать
doesn't
ритм
have
игры,
to be
потому
your
что они
your brain goes
интересны.
into, you need to just play them and try them because until you've played them, you don't realize just how
Просто
good and
попробуйте.
satisfying they can
Very
be.
satisfying games.
So, you know,
А я
if
скажу,
you're
не
not
пробуйте, вы не
located
сможете,
at
может быть,
ESA.games
оторваться.
or any near you, go play rhythm games, 'cause they're
Ну как, у него на треке 4 полосы. Все эти 4 полосы отвечают по одной кнопке на каждую. Вверху справа и слева 2 крутилки, которые отвечают за такую длинную протяженную линию, лазер так называемый. Правая верхняя за красные, левая верхняя за синие.
$6.29 from Matthew Barber saying, "Hey ESA, thanks so much for putting on this great event, and thanks to Stonk for playing this intense game.
Shout
It
outs to
looks
Matthew Barber.
epic.
He loves 666.
Please tell Stonk the speedrun I want to be the guy remastered and that he could never beat Comp's time." Well, there you go,
Центральное
Stonk.
подтверждение в меню. Нижнее, левое и правое. Кстати, нижнее, левое и правое хороший вопрос, потому что я забыл. Она, как я помню, отвечает за поворот арены, когда это требует игра. То есть это Special Quick Time Event. Но основные это вот эти вот четверка великая. Плюс 2 крутилки. Это все главные механики. По 2 полосы поля на 2 нижние же. Блин, я был слишком увлечен шоукейсом, чтобы отследить до конца все, что произошло, но вроде да. Я, чтобы не обманывать вас, скажу это точно. Это очень просто